This is Steve Walters, Megan Gilbride, Dave Shotwell. So Steve and Dave are the co-writers, the original co-writers of the script. You may also recognize Hugh G. Rection. There you go. Now it's clear. And his sidekick Throbbing. And then Megan is the producer of the film. And someone I've worked with several times before. And a lot of the actors were here earlier, so you guys should come to an earlier screen if you want to see them. Sorry. But we're very glad you came tonight. They had a great time. They wish they could be here, of course. Yeah, does anybody have any questions they want to start us off with? All right. Okay.
Brian, how did your project start?
How did the project start? I'm actually going to let the guys who started it answer that question. You want to go?
It started from personal experience and, kind of pain and wanting to make light of that pain and, I don't know, being slightly perverted maybe? I don't know. I think I wanted to be a part of a film about moving on from love, because I'd seen breakup films, but I hadn't seen a film that centered around the actual moment where moving on happens. And Dave and I partnered up on it. And
it's very anti-rom-com, actually.
Yeah.
Was sort of the original concept that I really thought. And then, I always took it that way. And then Preferred Content jumped on board. They pitched us, Brian showed us Lovers of Hate, which is a fantastic film. And he comes with this fantastic little package, which is his producing partner, Megan. And everything just went crazy from there. Once they came on and things snowballed, and it was just fantastic.
And we're really lucky.
Wait, are you? Well, yeah, okay. These are the mic. We're really lucky that we had Brian to direct this film and Megan to produce it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Addison Timlin really play the piano? Not play the cello?
She did not play the piano. No. Just kidding. No. So Addison Timlin, who played Haley, she actually was Annie on Broadway when she was like 8. So she's a very talented singer, and that is her voice. That is not her playing the cello. The song that she's playing was actually the song that was in the ending credits. So that song was by Megan's husband's band, former band, when they were called Corto Maltese. Now they're called 100 Visions, and they've been playing around South by Southwest. You guys should totally see them. They also did the song at the very beginning of the movie Let's Go Young. So we didn't know what that song was going to be that Haley was going to play through production. I think we were like 2 weeks into production until we finally centered on that song. And so we sent the song, the one that you heard in the closing credits, to this very talented young lady, Tiger Darrow, who used to live here. Now she's up at NYU. And she's a very talented cello player. And so she adapted that song for cello in like a day or less, and then sent us a YouTube video of it, and it was fantastic. We sent it to Addison. She really loved it. And so then we brought Tiger to Austin, had the two of them do a recording of the song beforehand, the day before we shot it, which Addison was listening to on an inner-ear microphone, and then we recorded her voice live on the set. And then Tiger also was doing the cello work, so we dressed her in her clothes, and Addison is a very tiny person. Tiger's tiny too, but there's a height difference there, so we have these great pictures of the two of them as like twins, but one of them stretched. But yeah, that was a very tricky scene to do. It was something I was really terrified by, but I really wanted to make sure that it was going to be her live voice in the space, because I just don't like it when when somebody sings in a movie, it's like suddenly you're in the studio, like their voice just doesn't sound like it's actually coming from the space. So yeah.
She sang that at 6 a.m.?
Yeah, she sang
7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Yeah,
so if you want to shoot a movie on 6th Street, don't do that.
Ever.
We were inside a bar at like 2 or 3 in the morning. We were supposed to shoot that scene, and there's just bumping bass coming from all directions.
Yeah.
So we literally left that setup, went to someplace else. Tiger took a nap, then we came back and we re-recorded the song. So Addison were working like 12 or 13 hours, and then we recorded the song like 7 in the morning.
And she still killed it.
Yes.
So.
She's amazing.
Hire Addison Timlin. She's awesome.
She is awesome.
Other questions you guys have back there? Yeah. It's a two-parter. First question is about the airport. Second question about the air sex. So Megan, do you want to talk about shooting at the airport?
Shooting at the Austin airport is actually really easy. Except for they won't turn the sound off, and they can't turn the air conditioning off, and they can't stop the flow of people. Maybe if you have more money they can, I don't know. But so we picked like a day when it was gonna be really slow there. It was like a Wednesday afternoon at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we just basically shot in the spaces when they told us you can't have anything there that you can't get through security. So if your G&E guys need scissors, you have to have a guy with you. We said no scissors, so we didn't, if you had water bottle, if you had anything sharp, anything you couldn't get on the plane, we couldn't take it with us onto the actual shoot that day when we were through security. But it's actually like the normal process. You have to have a certain level of insurance, and you need to tell them way, way, way in advance, and they have to approve it and everything. So,
yeah,
but otherwise, very easy.
They were incredibly accommodating.
Super helpful, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the guy that came, the guy there, Jason.
Jason something is very
Jason
nice.
something.
Yes.
Check him out if you want to shoot at the airport.
Right.
Just look up Jason something.
Good guy. He's the best.
And then the question about the air sex, that was actually not in the original script that Dave and Steve gave us. It was actually like a Guitar Hero competition that the guys were doing at the very beginning, and then it just sort of went away, like it wasn't part of the rest of the movie. And so when I was working on the movie, started working on the movie, actually my wife Kim, who's here, right there, she's the one who suggested air sex should be put in the movie, so blame her. So
Her parents are here tonight.
Yes, her parents. So proud, so proud. But yeah, and so the idea was let's try to have more fun with it. Let's make it something that's more specifically Austin. And so as part of research, Kim and I went to an air sex competition. We did not get on stage, but we did watch it, and it was one of the most hilarious and embarrassing things I've ever witnessed in my life. And it was just clear that it was going to be so full of comic possibilities for a couple sort of at each other's throats. That I literally was paranoid for like the year or so of casting the movie, and we were gearing up to actually shoot it, that someone else was going to put it in a movie, because it was just like, it's so there's so much possibility there for uncomfortable comedy. So I really felt like the fire was underneath me to we gotta do the first air sex movie before anyone else does.
And I just want to say on Huge Erection,
Yes.
thank you, first of all.
You are so welcome.
But I on a side note, the part that I'm an actor as well, the part that I played immediately following the Bounceback is I played Edgar in King Lear. And so, I don't know what that means, I mean, other than, I'm classically trained to fuck the air.
And suck your own air dick. Don't forget that.
I would say what is on the cutting room floor of Steve is amazing.
Yeah.
So buy the DVD, because there's going to be
Yeah.
really, really good stuff in there.
Yeah, we discovered through testing the movie, we did like 10 test screenings, that a little air sex went a long way. So we got a whole lot more air sex for DVD extras whenever you guys want to check it out.
Lots more Sarah, lots more Zach.
Anything else? Right there?
How did you guys find the balance of showcasing Austin and not feeling like a Travel Channel sort of movie?
Well, I guess this is the first time we've shown it at a festival, and we've shown it in Austin, and people haven't been, I don't know, well, I guess we'll find out how it works. But I mean, for me, I wanted to sort of treat Austin as a backdrop in a movie the way that like New York or Paris or like London or some other like city that's in the international imagination is used. Because I feel like Austin has grown in its, sort of its profile, that people are going to be interested to see this movie just because it's set there. And hopefully they'll be along for the ride with the characters and all that kind of stuff. But, it's like, I think Austin is a very special, unique place that has its own character, and like something like air sex is something that really only could have become a thing here. Thanks to Tim and Carrie Lee from the Alamo Drafthouse, who imported it from Japan. That's actually where it was originated, in bars in Japan, lonely men in bars in Japan. But that's the idea, is that Austin is a place that can embrace something that's like so irreverent and yet reverent at the same time. It's like, these people take it so seriously, like they take this thing that's so ridiculous so seriously, and then it becomes something that's really like exciting and interesting. I think part of it was just like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just
Well,
tried.
the other thing too, I would say is like, as much as Brian, who's lived here for 20 years, like loves Austin, we also love stories, and it's like, this movie won't work if people who don't live in Austin don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, we wanted to make it for everybody, and like, these guys don't live in Austin, and the other producer, Trace Sheehan, doesn't live in Austin. So we were always kind of like checking in with ourselves, you know, like whenever we get really Nazi-ish about like the locations of stuff, and like, oh, you can't run from, you know, the Alamo Ritz to this, you know, it's just like, that's not important. The most important thing is, why is he running, you know, like.
Yeah, so a question back there, right there.
I thought the opening was very genius, pertinent to the times in Austin. I was wondering how you came up with that Instagram opening.
Well, that was. The Instagram stuff. I mean, the masturbation was genius too, right? Obviously. Yeah, actually, that was something that this was a long post-production process for me. Like, this is my third feature, and that was something that we came to sort of late into the post-production process. We had done a number of screenings for people, and we definitely were getting the sense that people wanted to know more or just have a better sense of like the past of these people. I never wanted to do flashbacks. You know, that was something that we toyed with in the script a couple times, but I never really wanted to do flashbacks for the very, very beginning. So then the idea was, how can we make something that will visually give you the sense of, you know, the chronology of a relationship, the chronology of a four-way friendship that then sort of, you know, dissipates, but in a way that's going to be fun and visually interesting and like quick and efficient, and, you know, without having to like mount up a whole new production. And so we ended up actually bringing the actors back in January. We flew the four main people back to Austin and shot almost all that stuff in one day. Some of those pictures, like the picture of Kathy with her cat in her apartment, that's actually the actress Ashley Bell with her actual cat that I just stole from Facebook and put it in there. And it wasn't until she saw the movie last weekend where she was like, "Oh, what? That's my cat." So she didn't even know. But it was really fun, and that was something that we talked about that and sort of worked through it, and we got a really awesome local title design dude, Jake Mendez, to do that, and he did an amazing job very quickly, and totally got like what we were going for, and yeah, so if you guys need a really kick-ass title designer, Jake Mendez, check him out.
Jake Mendez.
Yes. Yeah.
Who or where did you get your inspiration for the guy's disgusting apartment?
Well, disgusting apartment. Well, the actor, Brian McGuire, who plays Reg, the tall one with crazy hair, that's basically his apartment in LA. He's not here, so I can say that. He wouldn't even really mind if I said that, but it's like... But yeah, I mean, it's like... I think we've all done time in apartments like that, you know? It's like when you have friends who just really don't have their shit together and you come into their house and you're just like, this is disgusting. But yet I'm gonna spend like 8 hours here hanging out and eating and, you know, watching movies or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I think it just, and frankly, the production designer, like, he just, like, constantly still I ask him like if little pieces of filth that I see like on the wall, if that was there in the apartment or if he added it, and Michael, our production designer, every time says like, oh yeah, we added that. So I mean, he's brilliant. Like, he just was able to add a whole layer of filth that still impresses me to this day. So yeah, back there.
For the writers, how do you react and how involved were you with the changes being from the sort of original script? And what do you think when you see your work out there? Very careful.
Steve originated the story. It was, if you notice, there was a story by Steve Walters. You sort of had a, you know, Weekend and Friends, and it wasn't that, but yeah.
I mean, we were always a part of the process. Brian's a really great collaborator. But certainly, when movies are a director's medium, and at a certain point, it was necessary and it was an obligation for Dave and I to give deference to Brian in that way. And I mean, I'm really glad we did, because the story only got better, the script got stronger, and then when the actors came in, they brought their own input to it. And that's what I come from, a theater background, and it's very different in theater. It's a playwright's medium. And so this was a really cool experience for me, being my first like big feature film to be a part of, to see that evolution of the process. You know, that there's the script that you write, and then the one that you shoot, and then the one that you edit, and everybody is sort of pitching in, and Brian's at the helm, and it was really cool for me personally.
Absolutely. So, you know, when we wrote a million drafts of the script, it feels like, I'm sure it wasn't, but like developing at different times and whatever. And then when Preferred Content brought us Brian, we loved Brian, he sort of gave us notes at first, and like we would rewrite. And then his director, the writer-director, was like, okay, now it's gonna be I'm gonna jump in and we're gonna basically get the shooting drafts going. So like then those changes started to come in, and we would know him, and we all sort of passed it around in that way. And he just crushed it. So it was easy because of that.
Time for one more? One more? Sure. Oh, distribution. Megan, do you wanna speak evasively about that?
There was discussion.
Well, about distribution, yeah. I mean, you know, it's like we want this movie to be seen by as many people as we possibly can. So we do fortunately have a sales team that's working on that and talking to distributors. But you know, I think the attitude that I'm coming to with it after this is my third feature is just that, you know, we did our job as far as making a movie as good as we possibly can, and you know, it's up to the universe to decide what's going to happen with the movie. But
You can tweet nice things about it.
But you guys are part of the universe. So if you want to spread the word, if you enjoyed it.
There's one more screening tomorrow.
Yes, there is one more screening tomorrow at the Rollins at 4, and there can be some more festival screenings down the road. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we just want to get towards making another movie, more movies.
And for people to see this one.
And for people to see this one, but yeah, you know, this experience, South by Southwest, has been incredible, best place to premiere the movie, and thanks so much to all of you for coming out and checking it out.